Welcome to Essent College Football Today. I'm Jay right here. You're looking live right here from our studio here for Essent College Football Today between the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones. That's today's featured matchup of the day. I want to remind you that coming up, that's 3 o'clock. We'll have it at 3 o'clock Central Time on FS1. That coming up. Okay, we're going to get to a lot today because we got to get to everything. Just what we got to do here. Got to get to everything on our slate. Iowa State, that's 3 Central Time on FS1. Featured game of the week. Other games we've got today for you include the Buckeyes taking on the Indiana Hoosiers. Hoosiers have given the Buckeyes some troubles in the last few years. They get them at home this year. That's coming up. Big noon kickoff on Fox. Big noon Saturday. That's coming up at noon Eastern time. On FS1, the Hawkeyes battle the Cyclones 3 Central Time on FS1 over on Fox. It's the Sun Devils taking on the Spartans. Spartans, of course, looking to go to 3-0. So do the Hawkeyes here on the season. ASU, a few scares early, but they're still fine. Maybe not after today, after they take on the Spartans on the road. Last year, they won late at home. New year, though. And then prime time, Clemson takes on Syracuse, ABC Saturday Night Football. And a reminder, next week, we get Notre Dame and Georgia on CBS prime time. That's next week. Part of a really good Saturday of football that doesn't include every team because there's 2 bye weeks this year, so there's going to be 2 weeks that everyone is going to be every team's going to be off for 2 weeks at least in 2019. And I mean, what better way to do this than to get right on into our picks here? And let's go there right now. Go to the picks document here. We have already had 3 games. I think I'm 2 for 3. That's pretty decent to start the week. Ohio State and Indiana, we're going to go with the Buckeyes to win this one. Just one golden game this week, and that's Iowa taking on Iowa State. Iowa State is just outside of the top 25. Iowa, number 19 in the nation. Pitt and Penn State, a rivalry that may be their last meeting for at least the near future. I'm going to go Penn State winning at home in that one. NC State taking on West Virginia. I'm going to go with NC State. West Virginia hasn't looked very good to start the season. NC State on the road. Big opportunity here to go to Morgantown and get a win. This is big, especially for the ACC. Try to get a big-time win. Maryland Temple, I think it's going to be a good one, but I got Maryland on the road here against Temple. Now, Temple, we think they're a really good team, but I think Maryland gets it. This is not their first go-around with Temple. This time, Maryland's going to get them. Miami of Ohio taking on Cincinnati. That's an ESPNU coming up noon Eastern. You go with Cincinnati. They're one of the best Group of 5 teams that I've seen. This is a MAC versus an American team. Cincinnati, good team so far this year. They'll continue it. Coming up after college game on ESPN, it is K-State and Mississippi State. I'm going to go with Mississippi State of the SEC, like their coaches, and like that they got home field. Should be a win for them. Arkansas State taking on Georgia. when I don't put in an image for a team, you know I'm not going with them. Going with Georgia to beat Arkansas State. Interesting start time, 1:30 Central on NBC. Mexico State taking on Notre Dame. I've got the Irish winning that one. Fairly self-explanatory why I'm going there. Stanford taking on Central Florida. We go with Central Florida. Stanford with a lot of injuries early in the season, haven't had a lot of success. It seems like I should go with Stanford here, but I do like Central Florida. Huge home field advantage. This is no kind of walk of the park kind of country here. This is cross-country matchup. Stanford just trying to recover from last week's Pac-12 matchup. I think UCF is going to be very fresh for today's game. They're going to win it. Alabama taking on South Carolina. Going to go with the Tide on the road. Gotta get it. South Carolina, they're going to struggle today. USC and BYU, a game that's kind of gone under the radar. It is an earlier start time than people realize for these two teams. And when you kind of say a little bit of an early start time, I tend to go with the home team in the Pac-12. I like BYU here to beat USC and continue their dominance. USC kind of overrated, and USC may be good when the lights get need to turn on a little bit, but this game happening, I'm not sure. It's BYU Mountain Time. That would be 1:30 p.m. It'd be an afternoon game, but for USC that's 12:30. I don't know if USC they're usually a flashy team that likes to play under the lights. BTN 2:30 Central for most of you on BTN. Some of you will have to tune into your the Fox Sports app and BTN Alternative to watch this game if you live in the Chicago market. Georgia Southern taking on Minnesota. Going with the Gophers to win this one. Shouldn't be a problem. Oklahoma State, rather. My bad. I'm a little tired here. Taking on Tulsa, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Going to win that one easily. UNLV taking on Northwestern. For most of you, it's going to be on BTN Alternative and the Fox Sports app. Except for those of you in Chicago, which you can see it on your normal BTN station. I'm going to go Northwestern. It should be a walkover win. ASU Michigan State. I mentioned earlier, this really is Michigan State's kind of time to shine here. They want revenge from last year. There's a lot of reasons why Michigan State's going to win this game. Home field, want it from last year. And also, their defense has been lights out. They have not allowed a rusher to move the ball all season long. And I mean, ASU may be able to move the ball, but I think Michigan State's defense will bend today, but they definitely won't break. Especially Arizona State. This is not no ordinary road trip. This is all the way to Big Ten country. BTN Tailgate is there today. Speaking of BTN Tailgate, I think they might be in Indiana, Illinois next week. I don't remember. But Florida taking on Kentucky. Last year, Kentucky beat Florida. This year, Florida will beat Kentucky. I don't know what else I can say, but Florida's a good team. They're going to win it. Clemson taking on Syracuse. I heard a lot of love about Syracuse. I think it's going to be closer than what the number says. I think it's like 27.5-point favorites for Clemson. But don't get your hopes up, Syracuse. Or don't get your hopes up for a big blowout. I think it's going to be closer than that. But I don't think Syracuse is going to have any shot at winning this game. I think it's going to be a 17-point game. Maybe a 24-point game, and then Syracuse might score late. Clemson going to win this one. But I do think it's going to be closer than 27.5. Syracuse at home in the Carrier Dome last week, I believe It might have been a road game. I think it was a road game against Maryland. They play a lot better at home, Syracuse does, than on the road, and you got to take that into consideration. TCU and Purdue, this is a game that's really under the radar, but it is a good football game. Purdue has been a very rough start to the year. They lost to Nevada, then they did beat Vandy last week. At home, I like Purdue at home here to beat TCU because Purdue, they are a solid football team. Rondale Moore, they do have a quarterback problem here. I believe their backup may have to play, but I think Rondale Moore, they can get him on the edge. TCU's defense is inferior to Purdue's offense, and that's going to be the key to the game, is can Purdue keep TCU's defense on their toes, maybe a little tempo, try to get TCU run out of the game. Got to get it early. Got to make TCU kind of give up. Northern Illinois taking on Nebraska. I got the Huskers. I know it's kind of tough to see there, but Huskers at home. They've got a big game here tonight. They need this one for their fans. Just lost to Colorado. Got a rebound here against Northern Illinois. They haven't had a good 2 games. They got to win this one. Texas and Rice, pretty easy. Going to go Texas. Longhorns, they just got to win this one here. Oklahoma and UCLA. It's another primetime game for Jalen Hurts, and he's going to roll. And UCLA is going to go to 0-3. I don't know, I could be wrong, but most of the time I'm right on those things. Portland State taking on the Broncos of Boise State, and go Boise State. That's 9:15 on ESPN2, and then the ESPN primetime, going to go Arizona at home. Don't like Texas Tech here in this situation. Arizona. Home field, kind of like it. Late night, Texas Tech going to be asleep, but in the second half, kind of similar to what we saw at Michigan State, Arizona State last year, but on a lesser scale. I think Arizona is going to get it done. And then our game of the week, Iowa taking on Iowa State. We're going to go. This is my favorite game every single year. Last year was a low-scoring game. I expect the defenses to have to be. They're going to give up a little more than they did last year. I think we're going to go with Iowa here to win this one. They're, I believe, a 2-point favorite for most people. Most odds put them as a 2-point favorite. Iowa, my team. I like Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes here. The College Game Days in Ames today. I think that's just going to hurt the Cyclones. The Hawkeyes, they're a team that's going to get this one done, and they are ready to go. Again, that's all we've got for the picks here. But now let's try to get a little more into these all these games here, especially this Iowa State game. And Kirk Ferentz, old coach, sometimes that puts you at a disadvantage to the new guys. But I do like Iowa. They have been solid through 2 games. I really liked how they played last week against Rutgers. I know Rutgers made a lot of mistakes, but the Hawkeyes, I mean, you got to flush it out. Iowa's played 2 games. They've got to play some reserves, and I don't see it as a disadvantage to have Iowa having played another game than Iowa State. All Iowa State really has is a tough game against Northern Iowa they played. I know they're ready to play Iowa, but do they know what Iowa team they're going to see here? And that's the question. You go from playing Northern Iowa to Iowa, it's a huge jump in competition. Iowa going from playing a Rutgers team to on the road at Iowa State, that's a big, it's kind of a big jump, but at least they had a power team that they're playing, where they have physicality is at the toughest level, and also having coaching at a high level. when you play against Power 5 teams. Iowa playing against Miami, Ohio, they looked pretty good. Iowa playing against Rutgers at home looked pretty good. But now they're on the road. It's a road test for Iowa, and then it's also for Iowa State. It's going to be a confidence test in how they're going to come out here. Because Iowa, I believe they've won, was it 4 in a row now in the series? And that's something that doesn't go well for the Cyclones. Losing 4 games in a row to your rival. At some point, you just got to turn it around and start bringing your A game again. And I mean, the Cyclones are playing as good as they can here. Okay. So, we've got next week Notre Dame, Georgia. That's just one of the many good games next week, as well as another SEC game that we've got next week. I hate Google is just not being nice today for me. Keep trying to sign me out of my Google account here. Okay, so we have next week. Next week, our featured games going to be Michigan, Wisconsin. That's a big Big Ten game for them. Also, we got in the SEC, Auburn, Texas A&M. And then, of course, Notre Dame, Georgia. Other games that we've got here include Oregon, Stanford in the Pac-12, Michigan State, Northwestern, Big Ten, and Washington, BYU. BYU loaded their schedule with Pac-12 teams this year. And I mean, it's tough. I much would have rather played a few Mountain West teams than Pac-12 teams. But I guess they can play however they want. So we are going to see you guys next week, at 11 a.m. Eastern, right here. Hawkeyes, Cyclones today on FS1. And of course, don't miss another episode of Inside Hawkeye Football Tuesday night on SN to break down this matchup, as well as SN College Football tonight, which is on SN Sports later tonight, and then available on SN tomorrow. How great is that? Available on SN tomorrow morning for SN College Football tonight. Break down all today's matchups and get you set for next week. And maybe we have more upsets. Last time there were no top 25 games. We had to believe at least 5, maybe 7 teams go down. I don't know if we'll see that many, but I think we'll see at least 3 go down today. Some of those teams that got to be on upset alert, of course, the Hawkeyes. Also, you've got the Washington Huskies, or not Washington, I mean USC, taking on BYU. Also got Florida in Kentucky tonight. Any other game here that I should be looking out for? Maybe Ohio State, Indiana. Maybe a little bit of Maryland, Temple. I don't know. There's a lot of games. You just got to be watching around college football. And if you watch all the games, I mean, you're not going to miss much. See you guys later tonight for us at College Football Night. And don't forget, Iowa State. 3 o'clock Central Time on FS1 College Football. All gets going with NC State taking on West Virginia. On Fox, though, today, it's Ohio State, Indiana. For our entire crew, I'm Jared. So long. Peace out.